Back to TLT Talks. Guys, I gotta be honest. I think this may be one of my favorite shows of all time that we're about to do. Maybe when I say things like Bored Ape Yacht Club, Crypto Punks, cryptocurrency, Metaverse, Web 3.0, maybe you're one of these people that know exactly what I'm talking about. And maybe, at least with some of those, you're like me, you have no idea what is going on. And so today we have a very exciting show for you. A very exciting guest for you who has been immersing himself in this whole world. He's going to be jumping on any second now. Here we go. Right on time. Instagram, you changed some things. There it
Right on
is.
time.
There it
How are you, my
is.
friend?
Yeah.
How's your day
Oh man,
going?
I am excited. I was just saying that I think when we're said and done here, this may go down as my favorite show in the history of TLT Talks. Nope, hold on, wait. I had my wife on once. Honey, that was
Yeah,
definitely my favorite. I definitely don't like John better than you.
disclaimer, you have to
But
include
we're
that
all
for
official.
sure.
We got our mic set up. We're all official, kind of. Still working it out.
Dude, you
We're
are
working
too
on
legit to
backgrounds.
quit,
We
my
got things
friend.
happening. We got things happening here, baby. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, whether you're with us live or you're one of the 100,000 plus people that are going to see this once it gets circulated via our newsletter, let me take a second to introduce you to Jonathan Seif, a dear friend and just a brilliant person in the financial investing space. 14 years on Wall Street, now has his own shop, managed over 1,000 family offices, yada, yada. I'm not going to speak for him because he's right here. Jonathan, why don't you let our viewers know a little bit about you, why they
Yeah,
should care about anything you have to say today?
yeah. Well, for the first reason is I have some experience. My background is on Wall Street, like you said. I've worked in the industry since I was 19. And I've worked for
Wow.
big firms like Fidelity. I've gone to startups like Betterment to help them build out their platform. And then about 3 years ago, I left to start my own private practice and really help kind of my network with everything from financial planning to investment management. And as it pertains to this conversation, most recently, pivoting into some of this crazy disruptive stuff that's going on with crypto, NFTs, Metaverse. So that is my background, and I hope I can add some value to your network today.
There you go. There you go. Well, for anyone that runs a business, by the way, for anybody that runs a business and doesn't understand the power of social media. So John and I have known each other for several years. And all of a sudden, he just kept popping up in my feed. NFT this, NFT that, Metaverse this, Board Ape this, just all these stories to where, like, the truth is that my entrance into this world, or the world coming into my view, I should say, is Jonathan. And then, it's a spiral because everybody's watching you. So as soon as I click on one link, all of a sudden I'm getting a million ads, yada, yada, whatever.
Yeah,
Conchetta, yes, you do need to be on this. You do need to be on this. I was foolish not to make a move that Jonathan recommended about 2 months ago. I'm really kicking myself in the butt for about it. But yeah, look, guys, I was fortunate enough to jump on the crypto bandwagon back in 2017. I had come from a Tony Robbins financial event. He had said Bitcoin. I had no idea what that was. I was like, you know what? Let me just invest a little bit. It started going up a little bit more, a little bit more. And then I built an okay portfolio. And for anyone that's in crypto over 2022, everything 10x. And it just exploded. And this is the future. If you watch Gary Vee, yada, yada. So, all right, let's jump in. So the nature, we're both going to try to be disciplined and not letting the conversation run away, because John and I could talk about this for like 10 hours easy
hours.
as an appetizer
Yeah,
before we hit the main dish.
yeah,
But my question for you, Mr. Seif, is the following. So there's traditional investments, right? There is NFTs, there's crypto, and there's metaverse. I'd say we could qualify those as like the four chunks. Can you take a few minutes to just explain each one of those
yeah,
chunks at a very high level? Like, I've been in this with you now for a couple of months, but for
yeah,
someone
yeah,
that you say board eight to them and they have no idea what you're talking about, right? Like, or you say
yeah.
minting and they have no idea what you're talking about, just very high level, each one of those four chunks.
Yeah, so let's start with crypto, right? That is where you have to start, is 2008, from the wreckage that was the financial crisis. Bitcoin emerged, right? And so that was kind of what kicked off the entire industry. right, was just a new way to do money. And it wasn't like a brand new idea. It was kind of like the genesis of multiple ideas combined. From that, we got Ethereum, which was an offspring, kind of expanded what can be done with digital currency. And through that, it then opens up the door for digital ownership, right, through the blockchain. So these are kind of buzzwords that we've heard over the last year or so, and they are all connected because the underlying technology is through the blockchain, right? And so from that enables everything from owning digital art like NFTs to the metaverse, kind of the connection of all of these digital worlds that we already participate in. But the genesis of all of that goes back to Bitcoin and the ability to send, store, account for a digital currency, and then everything that's come from that. And you can tell me where you want me to drill down, because you know I'm trying to be respectful of your time, but you know I can spend whatever you want to unpack.
Dude, I honestly, at a time like this, it's really funny, but you and I have had this chat. I wake up sometimes, and I'm an entrepreneur first, right? Yep. I'm an entrepreneur because entrepreneurs are problem solvers. So I do like real estate, but like, it's not about the real estate for me. I love about real estate that I get to solve problems via helping people invest, sell their home, make the most amount of money, buy their first home. I get to help my whole team, and I get to mentor and coach them into building a beautiful career. So for me, entrepreneurship is the perpetual solving of problems. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
And part of that is I wake up every day and I want to make sure that I'm optimizing my time to the most of my ability. And when I think about doing real estate in the real world versus being a guide in this new world, I'm like, man, am I in the right space? And it's like a reoccurring thought for me, you know, like, should I be guiding people? But then I've got some moral conflict. Like, if you watch this movie Ready Player One, then I got some moral anyways, like, I'm not going to go down the tangent, but here, and then there's blockchain, which we didn't even mention as a chunk, which is like its own thing.
Dude, I mean, I totally stumbled upon this whole world because of the nature of the investing that we do at the firm, right? So a lot of what we do is just traditional asset allocation, like really boring stuff, you know, that's not exciting, not sexy, no sizzle, but kind of what the data suggests, you know, portfolio theory. There's science that shows that having a well-diversified portfolio is really important. So that is the bulk of my career. But then just the curious nature of the investing that I do led me to kind of doing some of these more disruptive strategies for clients. And once I started down that path, you see some of these like Bitcoin maximalists and these lunatics screaming about how this is going to solve all of the problems in the world. And, you know, to some extent, that is because they're invested, right? So they have to believe that. But, you know, the nature of blockchain and the transparency that these systems bring about, you know, a lot of problems from voting systems to scarcity of resources, a lot of that's solved by the blockchain and just the transparency that it brings, you know, with it, you know. So I think there's a lot of technology. If you strip away the investment side, a lot of people ask me, like, what should I be investing in, right? And I really think it's just investing in the education of learning what's going on, because there's really a lot, and a lot of rabbit holes that you can go down.
Yeah, for sure. To your point, the actual utilization of stuff. I just invested with some dear friends into a blockchain ticketing company called Relic. So watch out, guys, coming soon. They're going to replace StubHub. They're going to replace Ticketmaster. They're already talking to major major athletic organizations, because all of a sudden you can't fake or fraudulent, or you can't sell fraudulent tickets. There's no fraud anymore. And, you know, going into the NFT space, basically when a picture gets taken in the, you know, stadium or the arena or the whatever, that automatically it becomes an NFT, and you get to own the NFT of yourself. It's that whole thing. Okay, so hold on. Let me give this. We got to give this some guardrails, because I think we're going off the rails a little bit. We'll
go off the rails.
Let's talk. Let's talk NFT. So even me, I did not know what the hell an NFT was a couple months ago. Let's go like maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes just to explain what is an NFT, why, like, just the basics of what it is, and what are the, you know, some people are making millions of dollars of the NFT, but some people are losing millions of dollars. So it's not like so simple. But just what is it, you know, and just give us a little bit of a run through.
So quite simply, fungible, right, just means replaceable, right? So if you think about, like, I give you $20 and I say, give me back $20, it really doesn't matter whose 20 you're giving me. It could be mine, yours, you know, two tens, you know. So that's fungible, totally, you know, replaceable and interchangeable. Non-fungible just means that it's totally unique, right? So you have your car,
Right.
and you lend me your car. I can't just give you back like a similar looking car. I have to give you yours back, because that is unique and owned by you, right? So up until NFTs, there really wasn't a way to declare ownership of digital assets, right? So you think about like JPEGs, which is kind of the first adoption of NFTs. Up until now, there's no way to stake claim on an image that lives on the internet, right? So that was kind of the core of what NFTs were when they were introduced. They were introduced through an avatar, or a pixelated picture called CryptoPunks, right? Which you've heard about, right? And that is the relevance of CryptoPunks. It's not that people think these images are like really cool. It's that they are historical artifacts of the blockchain and the internet.
Yeah.
That's why people want to own them, because there's a finite amount. There are, 10,000 CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's all of these projects are early projects that signify digital ownership in this space, where before CryptoPunks, you couldn't say Eugene Litvak owns this image. So that's the relevance from that. Like you mentioned, you kind of swim downstream and you have like a multi-million-dollar CryptoPunk, a multi-$100,000 Bored Ape Yacht Club. And then as you go down, now you're getting to the point where everyone wants a profile picture. So it's like people are, then you start to go down that road of gambling, right? They're not all going to be Bored Apes. They're not all going to be CryptoPunks. But for sure, some of them will be. That is the nature of the speculation in this world.
Yeah, so to synthesize, thank you, that was great. To synthesize. By the way, quick question for anybody in the chat currently that's live with us. Pop quiz. What's the most expensive CryptoPunk at the moment? And by the way, just understand, CryptoPunk is a picture, looks like a stick figure, and somebody owns it. But just like art, that's abstract or whatever, art is worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it, right? So anybody watching, what is type it into the comment box if you dare. I'm gonna give us like 10 seconds. What's the most expensive CryptoPunk currently available? 12 million. Good guess, Deborah. Anybody else? All right, John, you want to let them know?
Truthfully, is it 24 million?
Someday soon. No,
it could be 4 or 5 million.
Yeah, 7.6.
Ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous.
7.6. So guys, I want you to imagine
above my pay grade for sure.
So I want you to understand the world we live in today. Somebody drew 10,000 stick figures. Some artist drew 10,000 online stick figures. I'm telling you, if you're watching the show live or like later, just Google CryptoPunks and you're gonna see. It's like it looks like a Rugrat, it's a Rugrat stick figure, and
you're
it's
gonna get yourself in trouble with the crypto community. You need to stop that. The person who paid $7 million for that CryptoPunk is not going to be happy about you calling it a stick figure, for sure.
I'm just saying to the NFT layman, right? To the NFT layman, if you were to show someone that doesn't understand NFTs, you show someone the digital asset of the CryptoPunk, and you say, "What would you pay for this?" And they don't know digital art. Who's going to say $7 million? So look, so NFTs are essentially it's digital art, and the reason the valuations are so crazy. It's just like regular art. There's a supply demand model. The CryptoPunks were first and they're limited. The Bored Apes kind of came second. It's like CryptoPunks is Bitcoin and Bored Apes are kind of like Ethereum. They're limited. And so there is some speculation here for sure. Once upon a time, it was tulips. Then it was crypto. There was stocks. There was penny stock. There's always something. But also there's the actual reality of the value. And so there's utility too, which John was teaching me, that when you own one of these NFTs, you go into the community. So here's the power of this thing. John put me onto this and I kind of lost my mind. I think to any company, their logo, their marketing, their brand is monumental importance. Adidas, on their Twitter, the logo is not the 3 stripes. It is a Bored Ape. Google Bored Apes. The cheapest one at the moment is like 250 grand, I think. 250 grand for a picture of an ape that's bored. He's not even having fun. He's bored, this ape. 250 grand. And essentially Adidas, and you're seeing celebrities buy these things. You're seeing people put a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape as part of their branding because it says I'm involved in this community, right? And then there's utility. There's the Discords, the chat groups, the like you're entering a tribe, right? You're in a CryptoPunk
Yeah.
tribe. You're in a Bored Ape tribe. So NFTs, long story short, imagine you have a painting on your wall. Well, let's say you patent that painting, you put it in digital form. That's essentially what NFT is. It is a digital form of art that only you can own. It cannot
Well,
be copied. It cannot be fabricated. Yes, John.
so there's a comment that it's beyond art. And so I just want to clarify, it is
Yeah.
beyond art. It is literally just the technology to declare ownership digitally, right? So it is the first
There you
adaptation is
go.
digital art. But like mentioned in the comment, it is just going to be how everything is recorded, right? Report cards will be NFTs, your deed for your house will be an
Wow.
NFT. It's really, it is just any document that needs to declare ownership and live on the blockchain and kind of represent Eugene owns this, whether it's a digital asset or a claim on a physical asset, that'll all just be living on the blockchain in the form of
Yeah.
an NFT. And just something that can't be altered. Can't it?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
ownership has been declared,
Yeah.
and unless it's transferred, it lives with you. So I think
Right.
the nature of
Spot on,
collectors, right?
man.
Like, naturally we want to collect things, so people want to collect art, they want to collect, anything. So that is the first, I believe that's what hooked people. But I think we'll see it everywhere, and you'll see this
Yeah.
technology in ways that you don't even understand that you're using NFT technology. It'll just live in multiple assets of your life, or facets of your life rather.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Deborah, that's spot on, man, with smart contracts. That's right. We're going to try to stay high level, not get overly technical, because 30 minutes is definitely not enough time. Well, okay, here's how we're going to bring this all together. Max, thank you. That's really good. Max says if you explain how the blockchain works and its relation
Yeah.
to crypto NFTs, it'll be more clear. It all starts with blockchain, for sure. So
Yeah.
let's do this, John. Let me tap into that brilliant brain of yours. Let's talk NFTs and crypto maybe as how it relates to the blockchain. And then we're going to level on top. Let's do that first. And
Yeah.
then we're going to go to Metaverse and level the Metaverse on top of that. But let's do that
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
So
for sure. So
blockchain and how
yeah, so to
NFT and
keep
crypto
it
relates to the blockchain.
Yeah, so just to keep it really high level and simple to understand, the blockchain is literally a chain of blocks. And in each one of those blocks is data, right? And it's transaction data. It is, smart contracts can live inside of the block. If you think about it as just a series of text on a chain of more text on a chain of more text, and everybody has access to that one chain of nodes, right? And so they can see all of the transactions that are taking place. And that's the spirit of blockchain, is transparency, right? So everyone has access to the same ledger. They can view it regardless of where you are in the world. And as new transactions occur, it builds that string of nodes, right? So that's the block that continues, or that chain
Hold on
continues
one
with.
second. Can I make a crazy comparison? It just came to me. You let me know if this is
Yeah,
right. I've never said this
sure.
before. Could you say that this is like a massive spreadsheet that's protected that no one can edit? Would that be like a comparable, would that be a comparable analogy?
You're talking to someone who
So
doesn't spend a
ledger is
ton of
nothing more
time
than a
on.
series of
Yeah. So
I love
very
spreadsheets. Okay,
similar.
cool. So ignore me there. But I'm just thinking like, yeah, it's like a spreadsheet where no one can touch it. You could see the
Yeah,
cells, you could see the ownership, you can see all the data,
yeah.
but no one can edit the cells, right? Like kind of maybe.
Yeah, and it's self-regulating, right?
Yeah,
So
cool.
there are occasions where there
Right.
will be like malicious entries, right? Or, and so it's versatile in the sense that it can drop off strings that appear to be malicious, right? So it's a self-regulating chain
Right.
of blocks of transactions and data. And so that's the beauty, is that anything can be built off that, right? And that's why you hear people saying, put the cryptocurrency to the side. The underlying technology of blockchain is so revolutionary that, with some respects, we don't even know how it's going to change our world as of yet.
Right. Right.
You mentioned a
Right. Yeah,
company that
Max
you
says,
invested in. There are so many startups, so much VC funding
yeah,
coming into
yeah,
these
yeah.
companies. We're really, kind of in the forefront of what will come from this industry at this point.
Yeah, that's right. Max says it cannot be changed. Just attitude. Deborah says, yep, it's an unchangeable ledger. Yeah, that's why fraud's impossible in blockchain. Basically, what blockchain solves for is foul play, essentially. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So we've got this blockchain, which is essentially the technology of how transactions are recorded, basically bulletproof. How does NFT and crypto relate to bring it all together for us with crypto? an NFT and the blockchain? Like, pull it all together for us.
So the beauty of this industry is that new subsets of it are springing up every day, right? So you'll hear NFTs, cryptocurrencies, DeFi, decentralized finance. People are still figuring out how these things fit in, right? And so just to tie in your question, right? NFT kind of solves for the digital ownership. We're seeing that in everything from video games where you can buy wearables for your game to some of the art to projects that entertainers are putting out. I mean, there's a lot, right? And then you go down the whole of like, then royalties are affected, legacy planning changes for entertainers and creators, right? Now they can, I mean, there's a lot, right? There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
But that is, if you think about NFT as just staking claim in the internet, and then the metaverse being the connector for all of the digital lives that we lead from, like right now it would be Facebook, Twitter, etc., right? But ideally at some point, all of these technologies will be connected. That's the promise of Web3, is that you'll have a single sign-on for the internet, MetaMask, etc., right? And so all of these worlds will be intertwined, and you won't feel the experience of logging onto a computer, signing into 20 different applications. It'll feel like going to a coffee shop with friends, or instead of a Zoom conference, but if you think about what Facebook has done with bridging the world, it's kind of just a switch that they have to flip. I can't picture like my mother going to the Sandbox or Decentraland, but I could see her picking an avatar for Facebook and like mingling with her friends in the coffee shop, And so I think that is what the metaverse will feel like, and all of these NFTs. You'll be able to bring into your life on the metaverse, whether it's the clothing that you're wearing or a gallery or a wall in your home in the metaverse. It's wild, man. That is where we're at. It's not where we're going. We're already there.
All right. Let me bring everybody together. Okay, so we have this technology called blockchain where transactions get recorded and cannot be tampered with. We have this thing called NFT, which is essentially the technology for digital ownership. We have this thing called cryptocurrency, which is essentially an alternate, ungoverned currency, like a money of the people, if you will, right? And then, listen, I'm going to ask John in a minute, if you don't know anything about these worlds, where do you go? What are the resources? I'm asking them, but I'm giving everybody homework. If you have any remote interest in understanding what the future is going to be, or investing in the future, whether you have $1 million or $5. Listen, these young kids, they're investing $100 and making 40, 50 grand, $1 million by buying, trading, and so, or some aren't even buying them. Some are just creating their own NFTs, which is online art in a way, selling it. I mean, like Gary Vee posted, he made $92 million in 90 days, but Gary Vee's got an audience. So when Gary Vee drops an NFT, it's easy to get buyers, so I'm going to give you guys one piece of homework. I watched this movie maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, way before I knew this was going to come true. And the movie's name is Ready Player One. Okay, this is your homework, folks. Ready, if you want to understand what the future is going to look like, okay, Ready Player One. Spend 90 minutes, watch this movie, and you're going to understand what a alternate, non-physical universe feels like. And in this movie, when you watch it, there's basically a digital world where you put on like a headset and visors, and you log into this, and in this world, it's a whole world. And there's stuff. There's real estate, there's clothing, there's cars, there's whatever. And that's correct. I am Live, Ready Player One. And essentially in this world, all of these things you want to own, they're all NFTs. They're all digital assets, and they'll cost a lot of money, and you have to have coins to buy the things. Guys, this is, so Sandbox, which John mentioned, is one of the first metaverses. Decentraland is another one. Facebook is coming out with Meta, which will be a metaverse, which is why they changed their name. Disney is coming out. I want you to imagine this. You're going to be able to put on goggles and go to Disney World. And inside of Disney World, you can have a condo, you can have a car, you can have Mickey Mouse toys, and you're going to have to own all that stuff. And just like the real world, once upon a time, real estate was $1,000, and today real estate is gazillions of dollars. If you get first into these metaverses, you can be the first, and then as it increases, you can be an investor. Now the trick is it's not so simple, because what if Sandbox launches and fails? What if Decentraland fails. Like what these
Yeah.
universes can fail. Like any economy, they can crumble like Greece 5 years ago, whatever. So at a high level, I'm trying to rein it in because we got 5 minutes. At a high
Yeah.
level,
Yeah.
blockchain kind of started it all with a technology where you can house transactions permanently with no foul play. Crypto came second as a way to regulate, as a way to transact without the government being involved, originally without taxation, which obviously you can't ever escape death and taxes, and that's all coming. It's already here. Then you've got
Yeah.
NFTs, which is essentially digital ownership. And then all of that is going to come alive in these alternate universes. I'm telling you guys, Ready Player One, you'll have a different understanding of those things. Okay, John, to
All
wrap it
right.
all up.
So I want to say a few
God, I
things.
love
I
this
want to say a
chat.
few things that. All right.
Okay,
So
go. Go.
first is Bitcoin came first and then blockchain, right? So
Excuse me. Thank
and
you.
that's
Thank
not to
you.
go to, but so Bitcoin birth, like, you know, kind of people, they're like these maximalists who think that Bitcoin is the end all be all of everything is going to save the world.
Right.
And then there are others who said that's great, but there's a huge technology that we can use and pull from there. And that kind of birthed like all of this interest and investment in the blockchain. You mentioned that it was bulletproof.
Amazing.
I
Thank you
want
for
to
the
say,
correction.
just because the blockchain and some of these blockchains can be bulletproof, that does not mean that there are not a million ways that you could get got in the crypto space, right? Because anybody who has been playing in this world for long enough knows that there are a ton of nefarious players, right? So I would understand that you're dealing with a very safe technology, right? But the people that are utilizing this technology are not always looking out for your best interest, and oftentimes they're not, right? And so I think when you look at, you know, and that is my concern, what I expressed to you and to other clients who have asked me about digital real estate, is that, you know, that's my concern. If you look back at the last few years in this industry, people tend to have very short attention spans when it comes to new tech, right? You think about like the ICO craze, everybody had a coin, everyone was launching a coin. You know, now everyone has NFTs. Now everyone is in the metaverse with, you know, digital real estate. You know, what's going to happen is one of these metaverses is going to be the one that everyone uses, right? And for the rest of them, you know, anybody who owns land, it's going to be just like one of the coins that they picked up that they thought there was, you know, that it was going to keep going up. You know, crypto, the tide changes very quickly, and people move from interest in NFTs to DeFi, you know, and I think that what we'll see is over time, there will be kind of a foundation of all of the things that have survived these like booms and busts, you know? So I definitely think that the metaverse is the future, but I would be very cautious if you're just throwing money blindly at different metaverses, expecting that, you know, they'll all move in unison. Likely one will do really well and the rest will be, you know, they'll go the way of like shopping malls, you know?
Right. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Thank you for those
And for
corrections.
people
By the way,
for people who want to learn, I would say the best place you can learn is starting with the white paper for Bitcoin, because that is what set the entire industry off. It's a very short document, I believe about 10 pages, and that talks about the science behind why all of this makes sense. It alludes to the blockchain without discussing it explicitly, right? And it kind of talks about the foundation for this world. In addition to that, there's a podcast I love called Bankless. There are incredible YouTube channels like DApp University. And all of these projects come with white papers. So you can literally pull up any of these projects that you're interested in and get a full outlay of like, who are the developers? What's the roadmap? What problem are they intending to solve? And I think this much research as possible, because this is moving very fast, and the ones who are going to be direct recipients are the ones who have done the research.
Yeah, thank you. What I was about to say was thank you so much for the corrections. This is why you guys should be listening to somebody like John, not somebody like me, because I'm a total rookie in this space. Guys, if you're interested in connecting with John, he's on this thing. Just follow him, reach out to him, email me. I'll put you guys in touch. He's one of the visionaries in the space. He's also it's ironic because when I think about John, I think conservative financial planner. Like when him and I first started talking, and I was putting a lot of money in crypto. He's like, listen, are you asset allocating? How's your 401k? Like John's not the like cavalier, let me go for broke financial planner. And even he sees even he sees what this world is, and he's what I think he's doing. What I think is brilliant, which is educating himself on it, so that he can help investors play defense first. Guys, look,
Yeah.
Warren Buffett's #1 rule about money isn't how much can I make; it's don't lose money. A
Yeah.
great financial investor, the first rule of money is don't lose it. You work so hard to make it, don't lose it. Now there's calculated risk, that's different. But like even this metaverse thing, I'm like, oh, how hard is that? I'm gonna go into the metaverse. I'll drop X amount of dollars and I'll pick up a piece of land. And then I start looking and they're like, I'm talking to this one person. He's like, is it by a portal? I'm like, what do you mean a portal? What portal? Apparently this thing goes so deep that if you're just like, you want to get educated. So John, I was going to ask you about any places you recommend. You mentioned that already. God, I wish we could go like 4 hours of this thing. Any final tips for anybody watching now or down the road? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hold on 1 minute. D, one of my dear friends, asked a question. In the case of NFTs, what prevents a creator of an NFT from simply creating another one, thereby devaluing the original NFT? Like 1 minute, final tips, and then we'll call it.
Yeah, it's I'll answer both questions. So one, nothing really, and we're seeing that, right? You saw the Bored Apes, and then the Mutant Apes, and then the Kennel Club, and it's, you know, these are money grabs for these creators. These are absolutely money grabs. They want to build as big a Discord group, as big a community, and then sell as much product as possible. That is 1000% what's going on. But this time in this space also presents the greatest generational wealth transfer in history. Right. And for anybody who's willing to weed through some of the BS that's going on in this space and some of the scams and the money grabs, there is an opportunity to really change your life. And it is, I mean, whether it's coding, right, and like learning a language and then going to get paid $250,000 from one of these companies that have, you know, no access to developers because these languages are so new, or investing, you know, and learning about looking at calendars and joining Discord groups and figuring out where the interests and the communities are being built, because Web3 is all about community. That is it. The internet was created to bring us together. Companies figured out how to keep us separate and use us as the advertising revenue. And now Web3 is kind of about taking back the internet. So there is a ton of opportunity. And the last thing I'll say is I saw a question about the Vive app. I think for people who want to get involved with NFTs and can't justify putting a couple grand down on a pixelated image, I think that something like Vive that's working with like Disney and some of these companies that know they want to be in the NFT space and don't want to do it on their own, that is a really inexpensive way to make some money and kind of dive into the NFT space. Vive is a separate platform from like OpenSea, where they deal specifically with companies like Disney. So I love the Vive app. I think it's like still early on and not fully baked, but that's a great place to kind of start the journey of buying NFTs for sure.
Awesome. By the way, if anybody doesn't know, basketball therapist, awesome basketball coach. I worked with him for nearly a year. Got my handle going. We got that jump shot going.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
well, I definitely
oh
play
God,
like a white dude,
awesome
so
show.
I'll take some tips.
What a great show, man. I knew we were going to have fun, man. Between the content and the company, I knew we were going to have a good time. How do people find you? If someone wants to ask you questions. By the way, guys, John is very, very close to being able to, I don't know if I'm speaking for you, but to be able to accept money to do things in this space. I think he's either already there or very close to that. I don't want to speak for him. But if somebody wants a follow-up conversation, how do they find you, John?
Yeah, Mr. Profolio, Mr.Profolio. The name of my firm is the ProFolio Group. You can email me at jonathan@theprofoliogroup.com. And yeah, we do full financial planning, investment management. Just locked in a partnership with Gemini to do crypto. A lot of stuff. It's nice. You know, a lot of my peers are still 10 years ago. You know, I'd like to think that my firm is 10 years ahead.
There you go. Boom! There you go. Jonathan, what a pleasure. Thank you.
I always love talking
while
to you,
you're traveling all different kinds of worlds, thank you for being in the physical world with us. What a great show. I can't wait to circulate to everybody. Have a great day, my man. Have a great weekend.
You too.
To
love
all
you,
watching,
appreciate
enjoy,
you.
dive in, reach out with any questions. Man, get in. You know, if I asked you, don't you wish you bought Bitcoin? You know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, NFTs, all this stuff's coming, man. So get in there. All right, man. Have a great weekend, everybody.